10. Verbal tricks to make an aggressive person. Sorry. Have you ever been caught off guard by someone's aggression, left speechless as they lash out, while you scramble for a way to defend yourself? Imagine walking away from those moments not overwhelmed or angry, but calm, collected, and leaving the aggressor rethinking their behavior. Today, I'll show you exactly how to do that. What if, instead of escalating the conflict or feeling like a victim, you had the tools to turn any confrontation into a moment of clarity and control? Inspired by the timeless principles of Stoicism, these 6 verbal techniques are designed to neutralize aggression without compromising your dignity. One of these strategies even transforms anger into an opportunity for deeper understanding, a shift that will surprise both you and the aggressor. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore how to navigate even the most heated situations with grace and power. You'll learn how to dismantle hidden assumptions, respond to distorted words with precision, and use subtle techniques to turn the tide in any conversation. These aren't just tips, they're life-changing strategies that will leave you feeling unshakable and in control, no matter the situation. Let's dive in. 1. Pause before responding. I used to believe that quick, sharp responses showed strength in an argument, but over time I realized that impulsive reactions often fueled more tension than they resolved. One moment stands out vividly in my memory. A co-worker publicly criticized my approach during a meeting. My first instinct was to snap back with a defense, but something stopped me. Instead, I took a breath, paused, and allowed the silence to settle. In that pause, something powerful happened. I calmed my emotions, and they began to look slightly uneasy, perhaps realizing their harshness. When I finally responded, I said, "I appreciate your perspective. Let's explore how we can address this together." The conversation shifted immediately from confrontation to collaboration. This pause is something Stoics emphasize deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By pausing, I exercised control over my mind and refused to let the situation dictate my response. Pausing isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of mastery over oneself. It allows you to assess the situation, recognize your emotions, and respond thoughtfully. The next time someone provokes you, try this. Take a deep breath, count to 3, and consider what outcome you want before speaking. Often you'll find that a calm and deliberate response disarms aggression far more effectively than a hasty one. Practicing this habit has helped me navigate heated discussions with clarity and confidence. It's not about letting others win, it's about winning the battle within yourself. When you pause before responding, you remain grounded and in control, a hallmark of a stoic mind. 2. Use visual imagery to convey deep messages. There was a time when I found myself caught in a heated argument with someone I deeply cared about. Their words were sharp, cutting me down with accusations I felt were unfair. My initial instinct was to fire back, to defend myself with equal intensity. But then I paused and remembered the power of imagery, a tool I had often seen work wonders. Instead of responding defensively, I took a deep breath and said, "You know, anger is like a wildfire. It can destroy everything in its path, but if we channel it carefully, it can also forge new ground for growth." The reaction was almost immediate. They stopped, their posture softened, and they began to truly listen. What I realized in that moment is that people often lash out because they feel unheard or misunderstood. By using a metaphor, I wasn't just trying to defend myself. I was offering them a new way to see the situation. a calmer, more constructive perspective. Stoicism teaches us to focus not on winning arguments, but on fostering understanding and maintaining our inner peace. Imagery is one of the most effective ways to do this. It bypasses the defenses of the mind and speaks directly to the heart, offering clarity without aggression. The next time you find yourself in a tense conversation, try using imagery. Instead of saying, "You're overreacting," you could say, "Emotions can be like waves. They come strong, but they also pass if we let them." This approach not only protects your tranquility, but also invites the other person to reflect and engage more thoughtfully. By practicing this stoic technique, you'll find that your words don't just defend. You connect, heal, and inspire change. And that is the true power of wisdom in action. 3. Escape the trap of distorted words. I remember a moment when my words were twisted in a way that completely misrepresented my intentions. A friend I admired accused me of saying something I never intended, claiming, "So you're saying I'm a failure," when all I had done was suggest a different approach to a problem. My first instinct was to feel defensive, but I knew reacting emotionally would only escalate the situation. Instead, I calmly replied, "That's not what I meant at all. Let me clarify my perspective." By staying composed, I was able to explain myself without anger or blame. The result? They softened, apologized for jumping to conclusions, and we had a productive conversation. Stoicism teaches us not to get caught in others' distortions of our words. Epictetus advises, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When someone twists your words, resist the urge to retaliate or defend yourself aggressively. Instead, maintain your clarity and calmly restate your true intentions. This approach is powerful. By refusing to be provoked, you protect your inner peace and keep the focus on resolution rather than conflict. The next time someone distorts your words, pause and say, "Let's revisit what I actually said so we can avoid any misunderstandings." You'll find that clarity, not aggression, is your best ally in such moments. Over time, this habit not only builds your confidence, but also earns the respect of others. People recognize the strength in calmness and the wisdom in measured responses, and that is the essence of stoic mastery in communication. But 4. Reveal shared agreements. There's a subtle strength in showing someone that they already share your perspective, even if they don't realize it yet. I learned this lesson during a heated debate about a community project. A neighbor passionately opposed my proposal, claiming it wasn't practical. Instead of arguing, I listened closely and said, "I think we both want what's best for our community, and we both value sustainability. Let's talk about how we can make this work in a way that aligns with those goals." Their demeanor changed instantly. They agreed with the shared values, and the conversation shifted toward finding common ground. Stoicism emphasizes listening as an art. Epictetus reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." By listening carefully and reflecting on shared values, you can transform an argument into a collaboration. When confronted with hostility, instead of jumping into defense mode, look for areas of agreement. If a colleague challenges your process at work, respond with, "I think we both care about getting this done effectively. Let's figure out the best way forward." This approach doesn't diminish your stance. It strengthens it by focusing on mutual understanding. Finding shared agreements disarms hostility and builds rapport. It shows the other person that you're not their opponent, but their partner in finding solutions. And in doing so, you embody the stoic ideal of turning conflict into connection. 5. Recognize hidden assumptions. I once had a colleague ask me, "Do you really think you know better than the experts on this?" The question wasn't just a challenge. It carried the subtle implication that I was overstepping my bounds. In the past, I might have rushed to defend myself, but I've since learned the value of recognizing hidden assumptions and dismantling them calmly. I paused, smiled, and replied, "I don't think that at all, but I'd love to share my perspective and hear more about what the experts say. Can we explore this together?" The shift in tone was immediate. They softened and the conversation became productive instead of combative. Stoicism reminds us to not react to the surface of an argument, but to look deeper. Hidden assumptions often push us toward a defensive posture, but by addressing them directly, we regain control of the dialogue. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This clarity applies to challenging assumptions as well. The next time someone tries to corner you with a loaded question, pause and calmly unpack the assumption. Say something like, "That's an interesting perspective. Could you clarify what you mean by that?" This approach shows confidence, protects your dignity, and often leads to a more respectful conversation. 6. Stay neutral and avoid personalizing. Years ago, during a family gathering, a relative said, "Why do you always think you're better than everyone else?" The words stung. My immediate reaction was to defend myself, but I realized that engaging emotionally would only escalate the tension. Instead, I stayed neutral and replied, "I don't think that at all. If I've come across that way, let's talk about it." This response caught them off guard and shifted the focus from blame to understanding. Over time, the conversation became more constructive, and I walked away feeling at peace. Stoics teach that we should focus on the issue, not take hostility personally. Epictetus reminds us, when someone criticizes you, they are speaking from their own perspective. By staying neutral, you rise above emotional traps and maintain your inner stability. When someone lashes out, remind yourself that their words are often a reflection of their emotions, not your worth. Respond calmly, with a focus on resolution rather than conflict. This not only preserves your tranquility, but also fosters respect from others. 7. Acknowledge valid points. During a heated debate about a team project, a colleague criticized my approach, saying it was too complicated. In the past, I might have brushed this off as negativity, but instead, I acknowledged their concern. "You make a valid point. Simplicity is important. Let's look at ways to streamline this while keeping the key elements intact." This small acknowledgement changed the tone of the discussion entirely. Instead of feeling unheard, they became more open to my ideas, and together we improved the proposal. Acknowledging valid points is a powerful Stoic strategy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change." This humility doesn't weaken your stance, it strengthens it by showing that you value truth over ego. The next time someone criticizes you, look for the kernel of truth in their perspective. Acknowledge it sincerely before presenting your own view. This doesn't just diffuse hostility, it builds trust and mutual respect. 8. Handle the storm of questions. Once, during a family dinner, a relative barraged me with questions about my career choices. "Why would you choose that path? Don't you think it's risky? Isn't there something better? The questions were relentless, and I felt cornered. But instead of reacting defensively, I calmly said, "Those are interesting questions. Let's take them one at a time. What specifically concerns you about my choice?" Breaking down the barrage disarmed them and gave me control of the conversation. By addressing their concerns one by one, I maintained my composure and turned the interrogation into a dialogue. Stoicism teaches us to stay grounded when faced with pressure. When overwhelmed by aggressive questioning, pause and respond methodically. Epictetus advises, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." By staying focused and deliberate, you control the narrative. In similar situations, remember that you don't have to answer immediately or all at once. Take a breath and handle each question with clarity. This not only protects your peace, but also demonstrates your strength and confidence. 9. Use questions to shift focus. I once worked with someone who loved to criticize others' ideas without offering solutions. During one such exchange, instead of defending myself, I asked, "What would you suggest as an alternative?" The question caught them off guard. They stumbled for an answer, realizing they hadn't thought beyond their critique. Asking questions is a simple yet powerful way to redirect conversations. Stoicism encourages us to avoid direct confrontation and instead steer discussions constructively. When you ask questions, you subtly guide the other person to reflect on their position, often defusing their aggression in the process. The next time someone challenges you, try asking, "How do you see this working better?" Or, "What would you do in my situation?" These questions shift the focus away from conflict and toward problem solving, demonstrating your composure and wisdom. 10. Respect the truth and avoid straw man arguments. During a book club discussion, a fellow member twisted my opinion, claiming, "So you're saying the author's work is worthless?" I could feel the frustration rising, but I chose to respond calmly. "That's not what I meant. What I'm saying is that this particular chapter didn't resonate with me, though the overall book has its strengths." This approach diffused the tension and redirected the conversation toward the actual topic. Stoics emphasize the importance of integrity and clarity in communication. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Avoiding strawman arguments isn't just about preserving peace, it's about staying true to yourself. When someone distorts your words, calmly correct them without aggression. This not only maintains your dignity, but also encourages a more meaningful dialogue. Mastering these Stoic-inspired verbal techniques isn't just about handling aggressive people, it's about cultivating a deeper sense of calm and control in your life. Imagine walking into every conversation with the confidence that no matter how tense it gets, you'll remain composed, protect your inner peace, and even inspire others to reflect on their own behavior. Which of these techniques resonated with you the most? Have you faced situations where these approaches could have made a difference? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear how you've handled confrontations or how you plan to use these tools moving forward. Your insights could inspire someone else who's navigating their own challenges. If you found value in these ideas, please take a moment to like this video. It helps more people discover these transformative strategies. Don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and practical advice, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next lesson. And if you know someone who could benefit from these techniques, share this video with them. Sometimes, a small gesture like that can make a big difference in someone's life. Thank you for joining me on this journey of resilience and wisdom. I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll explore even more tools to navigate life's challenges with strength and clarity.